As a kid, I grew up playing video games, my favorite of them being FPS games or first-person shooter games. In my speech today, I'm going to be talking about what an FPS game is and why I enjoy them so much. I played plenty of FPS games as long as I can remember, and I've given a lot of my time to these games. I love FPS games because you can create your own class, you can go into battle, and you can play with your friends. So now let's get started, and let me tell you what an FPS game is and how it operates. So what is an FPS game and what does it consist of? So an FPS game is a first-person shooter game. You can go into this game and you go up against another team or individually, and you have to complete an objective. So before you go and do any of that, you have to create a class. So what does it mean to create a class, right? So first thing you have to do to create your class is you choose what weapons you want. Weapons, you have a primary weapon and a secondary weapon. So the primary weapon can be a sniper rifle, it can be an SMG or an assault rifle. Your secondary weapons are going to be like a rocket launcher or a pistol. You use these guns and you can mix and match these guns any way you like. The next thing is you choose what abilities you want. So these abilities, or perks as you could call them, will give you an advantage over the other team. So these perks, you can have a perk that allows you to run super fast, or a perk that allows you to run silently, or a perk that allows you to be immune to explosions. So now that you've created your class, you have to go into battle. So what does going into battle mean, and what do you do? So the different types of game modes that you can go into are free-for-all game modes or team game modes. So a free-for-all game mode is you against everybody else. So a game mode that I'm thinking of right now that is a free-for-all game mode is called Infection. Infection is a game mode where one person starts out and you have to take out everybody else. And as you take them out, they come onto your team. So at first you start out as free-for-all, but as soon as you start getting everybody else, they come onto your team and you try and get as many people as possible before the time runs out. The second one is team game modes. Team game modes consist of you and your squad going up against another squad to complete an objective. So, for instance, a game mode like Team Deathmatch. If you take Team Deathmatch, you have to get as many kills as possible to complete your objective before the other team does. Another game mode is Domination. Domination consists of 3 points, flags A, B, and C. You have to hold those flags as long as possible, longer than the other team, so you can get as many points before the game ends. So now that you know what types of game modes there are, you have to complete your objective to win. If you don't complete your objective to win, then you're just not going to win the game. Because if you can get as many kills as possible, but if you're not completing the objective that the game mode is telling you to, then you're not going to win. So now that you've learned what it means to create a class and go into battle, you're able to play with your friends. So playing with friends, you get to play any game you want. So the game that my friends and I play is Call of Duty Modern Warfare. This game is an FPS game, and I think it's one of the best FPS games out there. It has all these game modes that I've talked about so far, and it's just a really good way for us to connect. So along with playing with friends, you have to communicate. So there are two parts of communication: having fun and creating strategy. So the having fun part is just you and your friends chilling in a party, just hanging out and just getting to know each other and creating relationships. But the second part is that creating strategy. And when you go into a game and you have to create as much strategy as you can before the game and in the game to complete the objective. Having a squad with all being able to communicate is a lot better than a squad not being able to communicate. Because if you're able to communicate with your squad, you have a better chance of completing the objective before the other team does. So before I end my speech, I want you to listen to this message. I love FPS games because you can create your own class, go into battle, and you can play with your friends. The FPS genre of video games allows you to make relationships and memories that will last a lifetime. So I encourage you to give these types of games a try.